Before we begin, let me invite you into a quiet moment. This story about simple choice, deep emotions, and the things we often overlook in life. As you listen, let your heart slow down and follow the journey ahead.
I came home 2 days early, suitcase still in my hand, because I wanted to surprise Lily. The kitchen light was on. The house was quiet in a way that felt wrong. Lily was on her knees on the tile, scrubbing the floor with a rag like she was twice her age. Her face was calm, too calm. I said, "Baby, what are you doing?" She didn't look up. "I'm being punished. I have to make it clean." I called for Mark. No answer. I called again, louder. "Mark." Linda's voice came from the hall, sharp and controlled. "He's busy. Don't start." The car seats by the door were gone. Hannah's bright jacket was missing from the hook. I asked, "Where is everyone?" Linda stepped into the kitchen like she owned it. "We took Hannah out. She deserved it. Lily needed to learn." I stared at her. "You left my 8-year-old alone in this house." Linda didn't blink. "She wasn't alone. We're right here. And she's fine. It's for the family." Mark finally appeared, keys in his hand, eyes sliding away. I said, "Tell me you didn't go." He shrugged. "It was already planned. Don't make a scene." That was the moment I understood they were willing to let my daughter lose, as long as the house stayed quiet. If you've ever watched adults call cruelty discipline, stay with me, because I need you to tell me if I'm the one who's crazy. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I stood there and let the facts land. I'm Emily. I'm 35. I work in insurance in Chicago. I'm trained to keep emotion out of decisions, to follow procedure, to document everything. That night, I realized I'd been using those skills to survive in a place that didn't think Lily deserved the same safety. Lily is 8, and I'm already thinking about what her 9th year should feel like. She's gentle, shy, obsessed with ponies, and she asks innocent questions that make adults pause. Mark is my husband. His daughter Hannah is 11. In Linda's house, doors opened for Hannah without anyone noticing. At the start, Mark and I rented a small apartment in the city. It was tight. 2 kids, 1 bathroom, too many shoes by the door. The girls fought, then made up. Lily would offer a crayon. Hannah would pretend not to care, then take it. Our life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. Then Mark lost his job. A week turned into a month. Bills didn't wait. I picked up overtime. I took business trips I would have said no to before. I told myself, this was what you do when you're building something. You carry the weight until the other person can carry it again. That's when Mark's parents offered their help. Linda and my father-in-law lived in an older house out in the Illinois suburbs. Linda framed it as generosity. "Come stay here," she said, "just for a little while. It'll take the pressure off, for the family." I remember the word temporary sitting on my tongue like a cold coin. Linda always used the same phrases. For the family, for her future, for her own good. She never raised her voice, but she sorted people with her eyes. Hannah was our granddaughter. Lily was the other. Mark promised me it would be fine. "My mom is strict," he said. "She likes rules. Don't take it personally." I told myself I could handle a few months if it meant breathing room. I told myself Lily would be okay if I stayed alert. We moved in. On day 1, Hannah got a room with a door that closed, a bed with new sheets, a desk by the window. Lily got a corner that kept shifting, depending on what Linda needed. Her backpack was in the way. Her shoes were clutter. Her voice was too loud. There was always a chair saved for Hannah at the table. Lily would sit wherever there was space, then be asked to move. Linda called it order. Mark called it not a big deal. I started paying for things that weren't mine to pay for. Linda and my father-in-law wanted help with house expenses. They needed someone with clean credit to put payments under. Mark said it was easier if I handled it. So I did. Everything got wrapped in that same ribbon. Contribution, responsibility, family. The more I contributed, the smaller Lily got. She stopped humming in the mornings. She stopped drawing horses at the kitchen table. Before school, she would complain about her stomach and ask to stay home, eyes fixed on the floor. Her teacher messaged me that Lily seemed tired, withdrawn. When I asked Lily what was wrong, she whispered, "Maybe I'm not good at being good." I started listening. "Don't touch Hannah's stuff. You're just a guest. Move. Adults are talking." The words were never shouted. Quiet words can still cut. When I brought it up to Mark, he shut it down fast. "They're teaching her discipline," he said. "She needs to learn manners. Stop making it into something it's not. It's for the family." Hannah's birthday came and the whole house turned bright. Balloons, gifts, cake. Lily sat in the corner, hands folded in her lap, and Linda told her, "Don't get into anything." I swallowed my reaction. I told myself it was temporary. Then I went on a work trip, and I came home early, and I found my daughter on her knees, scrubbing the floor, while the people who said family went out to make memories without her. I stood there, breathing slow, letting it imprint, her small hands, the rag, the silence, Linda's steady gaze. In my head, a claim file opened, a timeline, a checklist. All of it pointed to one truth. My daughter was being erased. If you're listening, tell me in the comments what you'd do. I didn't argue with Linda in that kitchen. I didn't debate parenting styles. I didn't ask for a family meeting. I crouched beside Lily and took the rag out of her hands. Her fingers were red and wrinkled from the cleaner. "Go to your bag," I told her. "Put your favorite things inside. Only what you can carry." She looked up like she was checking if I meant it. "Am I in trouble?" "No," I said. "You're coming with me." Linda's mouth tightened. "Emily, don't be dramatic. She was punished for making a mess. She needs structure. For her own good," I said. "You can call it whatever you want. I'm not leaving her here." Mark hovered in the doorway. He tried to sound reasonable. "Can we talk first? My parents are helping us. You're going to embarrass everyone." I didn't raise my voice. They left an 8-year-old to scrub a floor while they took Hannah out. That's not help. Linda crossed her arms. "Hannah is our granddaughter. This is her home." Lily's shoulders curled inward at that sentence. Like she'd heard it before. I went upstairs. I didn't pack furniture. I packed documents, birth certificate, insurance cards, the folder I keep because life doesn't stop for hurt feelings. I grabbed Lily's clothes from the shifting corner she'd been given. I grabbed her sketchbook with the pony stickers, the one she hadn't opened in weeks. When we came back down, Linda was blocking the front hall like a gate. "You can't just take her," she said. "Mark is her parent too." I nodded. "He can talk to me through an attorney if he wants. Tonight she's leaving." Mark flinched at the word. "Don't do that. Don't threaten." "I'm not threatening," I said. "I'm stating boundaries." Linda snapped. "You're tearing this family apart." I looked at Lily. "No, I'm stopping it from tearing her apart." Lily held her backpack with both arms like a shield. She didn't look at anyone. In the driveway, Mark followed us. "Emily, you're overreacting," he said, softer now. They didn't go far. They were coming back. I opened the car door for Lily. "You didn't stop it! That's the part I can't ignore." He reached for my arm. Not hard, just enough to remind me he thought he still had a say. I stepped back. He let go. "Where will you go?" he asked. "To someplace Lily can breathe," I said. I drove until the lights of the suburbs thinned, and my hands stopped shaking. I found a motel off the highway. Nothing fancy. Clean enough. A place where nobody knew our names, and nobody had opinions about who counted as family. Inside the room, Lily sat on the bed and stared at the cartoon on the TV like it was a language she'd forgotten. I ordered pizza because it was simple. I gave her the first slice. She ate slowly, like she was waiting for permission. I sat beside her. "You never have to earn space," I said. Her eyes filled fast. She covered her face with her hands, then pressed into my side and sobbed like she'd been holding her breath for a year. If you've ever heard that kind of crying, the kind that comes from being quiet too long, hit the like button right now. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm asking you to witness it with me. When she could talk, It came out in pieces, not a speech. Linda called her not really family. Sometimes, Lily said, she wasn't allowed to have dessert because she hadn't been good enough. Sometimes everyone would go into another room and shut the door so Lily wouldn't ruin the mood. I kept my face still while my insides moved. How many times were you left home? I asked. Lily shrugged, as if counting would get her in trouble. More than once. What did Mark say? I asked. He said I should listen, she whispered. He said Nana knows best. I didn't make Lily tell me every detail. I didn't need a list to understand the pattern. I tucked her in with the motel blanket and sat in the chair by the window until her breathing evened out. My job trains me to separate feelings from action. That night, I made the separation clean. I opened my laptop and pulled up every account that had my name on it at Linda's address. The utilities, the payments, anything I had agreed to help with, because my credit was the clean one. I didn't erase history. I ended my liability. In the morning, I canceled what I could, changed what I could, documented what I did, and saved every confirmation number. I screenshotted receipts. I wrote down times. I kept it boring on purpose, because boring is what holds up when someone later tries to rewrite the story. Then my phone started buzzing. Mark. Again and again. When I finally answered, his voice was frantic. Emily, please, come back. We can fix this. I said, fix what? The floor? Or the way Lily was treated? He exhaled hard. They were just teaching her discipline. You know my mom. She's old school. They weren't trying to hurt her. I kept my voice flat. A family that makes an 8-year-old scrub a floor alone while everyone else goes out isn't teaching discipline. It's teaching her she doesn't matter. He went quiet. Then he tried guilt. You're breaking us. You're destroying the family. I looked at Lily asleep on the other bed. Her face finally relaxed. And I said, then maybe the family was already broken. I didn't block his number. I just stopped answering until I was sure Lily wouldn't hear him. If you think I should have stayed and worked it out in that house, say it out loud. And if you think I did the only sane thing, say that too. By late morning, Mark's parents knew I'd shut down the accounts tied to my name. Linda called first. Not a greeting, a verdict. You're selfish, she said. After everything we've done, you're going to punish us? I said. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm protecting my child. She scoffed. Protecting? From what, chores? Lily needs to learn to respect a household. Hannah respects it. I didn't take the bait. You left Lily behind. Alone. That's the line. Linda's voice sharpened, but she kept the same packaging. You're dividing this family. For what? A misunderstanding? I heard my father-in-law in the background, muttering. I heard Mark trying to talk over her. I kept my tone level. A misunderstanding is forgetting milk. This was leaving a little girl to scrub floors while you went out to celebrate. Linda switched tactics. You're unstable, she said. You're making rash choices. Think about Lily's future. That word again. Future. As if my daughter's future depended on tolerating humiliation. I said, my daughter's future depends on feeling safe, not on being quiet. Mark called right after, like Linda had handed him the phone. Emily, he said, please. They're furious. Can you at least come back and talk? I'm talking, I said. You just don't like what I'm saying. He sighed. They didn't mean it the way you're taking it. I pictured Lily's knees on that tile, the cleaner, the empty house, my surprise turning into a punch. I said the sentence that had been sitting in my mouth since yesterday. What kind of family makes an 8-year-old scrub a floor alone so everyone else can go have fun? Silence. Then he tried the same defense, softer now. They were trying to teach discipline. It wasn't dangerous. They were nearby. Nearby isn't the same as present, I said. And discipline isn't the same as exclusion. He paused. So what now? You're just going to take her away from all of us? I heard how he said it. Not away from them. Away from him. Like Lily was a possession he had misplaced. I said, for now, yes. Mark got angry then. Not yelling, but sharper. You're destroying everything. My parents took us in. We had no options. We had options, I said. You just liked the option where Lily stayed small. He breathed out, slow. You don't understand my family. I almost laughed. I understand it perfectly. I've been living inside it. When I hung up, my hands were steady. My stomach wasn't. I looked at Lily. She was sitting on the bed, drawing for the first time in weeks. A small horse with a big head, a girl next to it, holding a rope, smiling. Do you want to go back there? I asked, careful. She didn't stop drawing. No. That one word was enough. I called my boss and told her I needed a couple days. I didn't give details. I didn't need to. Then I drove us back toward Chicago. On the highway, Lily fell asleep with her forehead against the window. I watched the rise and fall of her shoulders like it was proof I was doing the right thing. In my head, I ran through logistics. Lease, school, work schedule, what I could cover alone if Mark kept spiraling. It wasn't a fantasy plan. It was the same kind of plan I make at work. If this happens, then we do this. If that fails, we do that. When we got to our old apartment building, it looked smaller than I remembered. The hallway smelled like someone's dinner. The stairs creaked. It felt like normal life. I unlocked the door, and Lily walked in like she'd been holding her breath for months. She went straight to the spot where she used to draw. She opened her sketchbook again. She lined up her crayons. I watched her, and something in me unclenched. If you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping your kid's dignity, tell me you know how lonely that choice feels. Mark kept calling. Some messages were pleading. Some were accusing. You're humiliating me. My mom is crying. Everyone thinks you're heartless. I didn't respond to the noise. I responded to facts. When I did answer, I stayed calm. Lily will not be staying at your parents' house, I said. If you want to see her, we can talk about it when you're ready to prioritize her safety. He snapped. They're not unsafe. They're family. I said, family doesn't rank children. That set him off. You're putting words in their mouths. I'm repeating what Lily heard, I said. Guest, not family. Don't touch. Don't eat. Don't speak. He went quiet again. Then he said, like it was the final argument, Hannah is my daughter too, and Lily is mine, I said. And she is also yours, whether you act like it or not. He didn't have an answer for that. Over the next days, Linda sent texts. Long ones. Carefully written to sound wounded and righteous at the same time. She called me ungrateful. She said I'd poisoned Lily. She said I was teaching her to be disrespectful. Always the same wrapper. For the family, for her future, for her own good. I saved them. Not to build a case, not to be dramatic, just because I was done letting people pretend words disappear. I kept my tone the same every time, clear and final, like a policy that can't be appealed. Lily started laughing again in small bursts. At a silly cartoon, at a joke I didn't even mean to make. She started asking questions again, the innocent ones that make adults uncomfortable, but in a good way. One night she said, Mom, am I a good kid? I didn't hesitate. You always were. And for the first time since moving into Linda's house, Lily believed me. The first week back in Chicago felt like walking with a bruise you can't show. On the surface, I went through normal motions. I answered work emails. I refilled Lily's lunch supplies. I washed sheets. Underneath, I was still hearing Linda's tone in my head, that calm certainty that she could define what a real family looked like and everyone would play along. Mark showed up at the apartment door 2 days after we returned. I didn't slam it in his face. I didn't invite him in like nothing happened either. I stood in the doorway and kept my body between him and Lily. He looked tired, unshaven, cornered. I just want to talk, he said. Talk about Lily, I replied. Not about your parents' feelings. His jaw tightened. You don't understand what you did. My mom says you took Lily to scare her. She says you're turning her against us. I kept my voice even. Lily told me what she lived. I didn't put words in her mouth. Mark glanced past me like he expected to see Lily. Where is she? With me? I said. Safe. He tried a softer angle. Can I at least see her? Not today, I said. Not until you can acknowledge what happened. His eyes flashed. So, I have to call my mom abusive to get access to my own kid? I didn't rise to it. You have to stop excusing exclusion as discipline. Mark rubbed his forehead. They did so much for us. They gave us a roof. And I paid under my name because you asked, I said. And Lily paid in a different way. He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried the line I'd heard all week. It was for the family. I didn't blink. If it's for the family, then Lily is included, every time. Behind me, I heard Lily's small footsteps. She paused in the hall, not coming closer, waiting for my cue. I turned my head slightly. Lily, you're okay, I said, gentle but firm. Mark saw her then. His face changed, like he wanted to soften and didn't know how. Hi, Lil, he said. She didn't answer. She didn't hide either. She just stood still, like she'd learned the safest choice was not to give too much. Mark swallowed. Sweetheart, you know we love you. Lily's voice came out quiet. Then why didn't you stay with me? The question wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. That made it worse. Mark looked at me like I'd coached her. I shook my head once. No. He tried to speak. Nothing came. Lily took a breath. I don't want to go back there, she said. I don't want to be punished alone. Mark's shoulders slumped. For a second, I saw shame. Then I saw him reach for denial to cover it. You weren't alone, he said quickly. Nana was there. Lily's eyes dropped. Not with me, she whispered. I ended it before it could turn into another lecture. That's enough, I said. Mark, you need to leave. He stared at me. You can't keep her from my parents forever. I'm not talking about forever, I said. I'm talking about now. He left without yelling. That almost made it scarier, how easy it was for him to retreat and let his mother fight for him. After that, Linda's messages got harsher. She said I was ruining Hannah's stability. She said Hannah was suffering because of my tantrum. She said Lily was too sensitive and needed to toughen up. I didn't respond. I focused on Lily. I also did what I always do when life turns unstable. I organized. I changed our mailing address back. I updated Lily's school records. I made sure her emergency contacts were mine, not Linda's. I set reminders for bills under my own roof, not theirs. I cleaned the apartment the way I clean after a storm, not because dirt was the problem, but because order calms my nervous system. Lily watched me, then joined in, folding her pajamas with careful hands. No one told her she was in the way. No one sighed when she left a pencil on the counter. At night, she asked, Are we staying here? Yes, I said. This is ours. She didn't celebrate. She just exhaled, long and quiet, like her body understood before her mind did. I kept my phone on silent after bedtime. I didn't want Lily waking to adult voices. If Mark wanted to talk, he could do it when Lily was at school. That boundary was small, but it mattered to me daily. At school, Lily's teacher told me she seemed lighter, more present. She raised her hand again. She drew again. The stomach aches before school stopped. At home, Lily started asking if she could invite a friend over someday. A simple question that told me she was starting to believe this place was ours. I kept my routines steady. Dinner at the same time. Bedtime calm. No surprises. No sudden punishments that came out of adult moods. One evening, Lily sat next to me on the couch and said, I thought I had to be perfect so they'd want me. I kept my voice low. You don't have to perform for love, I told her. Not here. She nodded, like she was filing it away. Mark called less after that. When he did, his tone shifted between apology and resentment. I miss you, he said once. I miss who I thought you were, I answered. He didn't argue. I wasn't trying to win. I wasn't trying to punish. I was trying to make sure my daughter never had to kneel on cold tile to prove she deserved a place at a table. That was my line. It stayed. If you're a mother who's ever been told to stay quiet for the family, please subscribe and stay close, because the last part is where the balance finally comes back. A couple weeks later, the noise from Mark's side slowed down, not because they understood, but because they realized I wasn't bending. I stopped expecting an apology from Linda. People like her don't apologize. They reframe. They rewrite. They tell the story until it sounds like they were the injured party. Mark tried one last time to pull me back with a calm voice. "Emily," he said, "we can start over. We can all sit down. My mom will be nicer if you're just more flexible." I heard it clearly then. The price of peace was Lily's silence. I said no. He went quiet. "So you're choosing this?" "I'm choosing Lily," I answered. "You can choose her too, anytime. If you're still here, type Lily first in the comments. I want to know how many of us refuse to trade a child's dignity for adult comfort." After that call, I stopped waiting for permission to build a life that felt safe. I've been called cold more than once in my life. At work, it's a compliment. At home, people use it like a weapon. Linda used it that way. Mark used it too, even when he didn't say the word. They expected me to smooth things over, to apologize for being upset, to make it comfortable again. They expected me to accept that Lily's discomfort was the price of everyone else's peace. But I watched Lily change in that house. I watched her get quieter. I watched her swallow questions. I watched her start believing that being good meant being invisible. So I did what I know how to do. I turned the situation into steps. Step 1 was getting Lily out. Step 2 was making sure there was no financial rope tied to Linda's address that could pull me back. Step 3 was rebuilding a routine that didn't depend on anyone's approval. It wasn't dramatic. It was paperwork, phone calls, and calm decisions made while my stomach was still tight. Lily noticed the difference right away. Not because I gave speeches, but because I stopped asking her to tolerate things that hurt. In Linda's house, Lily watched faces before she moved. Here, she moved first. She would open the fridge without checking if it was allowed. She would sit at the table without waiting to be assigned a chair. She would speak without flinching when an adult walked into the room. Sometimes she would still pause, like her body remembered the old rules. When that happened, I'd catch her eyes and nod. A quiet yes. A quiet permission. I also had to unlearn things. I had spent months telling myself to be patient, to be grateful, to be flexible. I had mistaken endurance for virtue. I had mistaken silence for maturity. I'm not proud of that, but I am proud of what I did next. I'm proud that Lily watched me choose her and learned that love can be firm too. I signed the paperwork to keep our small apartment in Chicago as our home again. It wasn't glamorous. It was ours. I set Lily's room up the way she liked it. Not perfect, just hers. Her drawings on the wall, her pony stickers on the lamp. Space that didn't have to be earned. The first night, she asked if she could leave her shoes by the door. "Yes," I said. "We live here." She smiled like that was a joke, then realized it wasn't. Weeks passed. Lily's laughter came back in full, not just small bursts. She started bringing home drawings again. Horses, mostly. Sometimes a girl with a cape. Sometimes a family with 2 people holding hands. One afternoon she asked me, "Do you think Nana thinks I'm bad?" I kept my answer honest and gentle. "I think Nana has rules that aren't fair, and that's not your job to fix." Lily nodded. Okay. That was it. No spiral, no guilt, just acceptance. Mark didn't disappear from the world, but he stopped being the center of ours. When he called, I kept it short. When he tried to make me feel ashamed, I didn't accept the package. Linda's name stopped lighting up my phone. When it did, I didn't respond. I didn't need to win an argument. I needed Lily to stop believing she was a guest in her own life. One evening, Lily climbed onto the couch beside me and said, "Mom, I like our quiet." I kissed her forehead. "Me too." She hesitated, then asked the question that told me the wound was healing. "If I make a mess, will you still love me?" I didn't laugh. I didn't brush it off. I took it seriously, because she meant it seriously. Yes, I said. Even if you make a mess. Even if you have a bad day. Even if you're loud. Even if you're sad. Love doesn't get revoked. Her eyes watered, but she didn't fall apart this time. She just leaned against me like she trusted the answer. In the months that followed, Lily stopped faking stomach aches. She stopped bracing for punishment that didn't match the mistake. She stopped asking if she was good enough, and I stopped shrinking myself to keep other adults comfortable. I think about that kitchen sometimes. The tile, the rag, the way Lily's face tried to look normal so she wouldn't get in more trouble. I also think about the moment we closed the motel door and it was just the two of us. Pizza on a paper plate, cartoons in the background. Lily crying into my shoulder like she finally had permission to be a kid again. That night didn't fix everything in one breath. It didn't erase what they did, but it drew a line that mattered. A child is not a guest, not in a house, not in a marriage, not in a family. Lily doesn't have to earn the right to exist anymore, and neither do I.